good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. 1 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. in Kiev, 3 p.m. in Tokyo, 10 p.m. in the Pacific. Headlines for what was 3/7 2022. I think we're going to jump because of the time that I come on as the last. And in my old format, I was always here are your headlines for tomorrow. Because so much of the world sleeps in different shifts and yet the arrogance of everybody's a daywalker and in the overnight because the headlines are becoming so fluid, they're changing so fast. Literally, one set of headlines changing three separate times in just a 12 to 24-hour format. So let's get to as many of them as I can. And this time, I'm going to go backwards. As of most recently, so 1 a.m. Eastern, which now makes it 3/8, 2022. What was initially reported as 1.5 million refugees escalated at 1.7 million. ABC News in the overnight morning is reporting approximately 2 million Ukrainians have fled, with millions more. Yes, that number will be no less than 10 million refugees, and yet it could be as many as 10 million dead, equaling 20 million if the population's 40 million plus. They're frightening numbers and they're sad, but the media wants to focus on the catastrophic emotion and the trauma of the children, and it's interesting. The peace talks, of course, stalling. We had a couple, and well, the peace talks have stalled. Yes, because war is profitable. Ukraine and President Zelensky, this is creepy. Okay, give us the jets. We've given them the Stingers and the Javelins and other weapons. All right, if Poland gives them the jets, well, then we have to buy them new. Okay, replacement jets. Oh, more money. No troops, really. Well, U.S. troops are now in Latvia training literally at Russia's doorstep. Latvia, check the map. I know, green screen. Next week, I could point on the map where it is. Unless you're a flat earther, go look at a globe and you should be able to find it. Now continued calls on both sides of the aisle regarding a ban of all Russian import, excuse me, depending upon which list you're on, banning any export of Russia stuff, as well as we're not going to import it. Okay, this is getting, boy, and you think gas prices went out of control this last week. Watch the second the ban is announced. A limited ban that'll only affect the peasants. 800 more troops have been sent to the Balkans. Okay. 20 Black Hawks were moved from Germany into Latvia to assist. I'm going to back it up and get to all of the emotion of the children at the end. Hundreds of thousands of this is NBC Nightly News spew with Lester Holt. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian civilians under attack savagely by indiscriminate shelling. We are now at a historic crisis. They're now calling the what was originally Russian military exercises, Lester Holt, NBC News, 3/7/2022, calls it now a pre-invasion force. Wow. Uh, Kiev is not in as much danger as falling because President Zelensky did a couple and a half minute video to the world from his office showing, like when you check into the hotel in Vegas, yep, here we are, here's my desk. So, yep, here we are. I'm not leaving. We're fighting. Um, Irpin, as I reported 4 nights ago, NBC News and other various media outlets, including CNN, are either calling Irpin the linchpin in Putin's move to take Kiev, and Irpin is now a key target. As continued is Odessa, as with the annexation of Crimea in 24. See, they keep dignifying all of that language, and the move continues for the siege of Odessa, the largest port. And if they can control that, then, see, now we were discussing that, I think, in the second week of January on the Conspiracy Keepers. You can find me, Scooter McGee, on Scooter McGee on Facebook. You can find me, the Scooter McGee, on Twitter. Support my endeavor, support the obnoxiousness, support the secret burial we had to have for the creepy little look. I thought it'd be funny. I'm sorry. I did not realize so many of you were offended by a ventriloquist dummy. Oh, Scooter McGee, support me and help me get out of this disaster and get some better production quality and get some better microphones. One thing, wiring and cable and everything else is going to be nuts to do a 3-hour daily show. Now, I didn't say that. I originally did a 5-day-a-week 3-hour show. But if we're really going to cover the headlines in the news, then you can't. Okay, well, then it's got to be a 1 hour a night. I promise I will just deliver 30 minutes a night figuring this out. But support me on Patreon. Thank you. Like the show. I don't understand smashing, because you just keep doing that and you don't do enough, then you might not have liked it. Share it with your friends. Say hi to me at St. Patrick's Day. Be hiding under a rock. The United States has announced not only is it going to be negotiating and meeting with Venezuela regarding more oil, but now we're going to be negotiating with Saudi Arabia and Iran for more oil, as the United States argumentatively may or may not be an energy independent nation. However, if we have 100 years of oil, why not use this next 100 years to come up with a plan to go green? Why is Kamala Harris, now is the time for green energy? Why is Pete Buttigieg talking about the $5 billion we allocated in recharging stations? When asked, Jen Psaki's asked about the Keystone Pipeline, that it's simply not going to, it's just a pipeline, it just delivers, and you don't, wow, who doesn't understand? What's going on with Anwar? And these media now having to report record gas prices for the first time since 2008. But they don't say Obama administration. They like to tag that to George W. Bush. And I point out the record gas prices because the price of oil then was 148 or 149.50 a barrel. Not 121 a barrel, 130 a barrel. Prices are only going to continue to escalate simply if you look at the last set of numbers. Media not wanting to cover that. They continue also to talk about record inflation since the 80s, wanting to somehow compare it to Ronald Reagan. The problem is that the way they calculated inflation back then versus the way they do now is a whole different set of criteria. Excuse me. And they keep changing the criteria so they can keep their numbers low. If you think we're seeing record inflation now, wait till it's double digit. It may not take 60 days to get to double digit inflation. If America saw a 50-cent spike in their gas per gallon since March 1st, this is a big problem. Kamala, yeah, the vice president, negotiating and around the world. And, she'd never been to Europe, and she hadn't been to the border. Now she's been to Europe. She's going to Europe. Jets. Yeah. Oh, some other interesting headlines that are getting buried because nobody's paying attention. The 20th 9/11 hijacker, at Gitmo? They're sending him back to the United States because they have mental health issues. I don't want to report if it's a he or a she or a they. I mean, he or she. It's just they have mental health issues. I thought there were 19 9/11 hijackers. You remember the 20th one? Should remember some of the headlines of the news. These are all live. These all spewed out in the last 24 hours. The stunning revelation and the numbers of COVID from around the world reported by Johns Hopkins University. 6 million plus people dead from COVID around the world, and over 55 million cases, and they fear those numbers are low. How many people are on the planet? If it's argumentatively 7 billion and 6 million people died and 55 million cases of COVID existed, how about if we don't drive for 2 weeks and that'll flatten the curve of the price of oil? The United States in negotiations with Venezuela will also be negotiating for oil with Iran and Saudi Arabia. Let us know how that's going to work. It was always discussed as a business model and an economic model in the financial collapse of 2007, 2008. If America reached $5 a gallon gasoline, it was going to cripple the U.S. economy. So I throw that number out there. China, by the way, in an announcement earlier today, said that Russia is China's most strategic partner. China, Russia, and India have now begun to dump U.S. dollars they held in world markets. There's a lot of headlines. The New York City mayor, regarding lifting the mask mandates, insists that the kids in the schools must remain masked so that New York City doesn't have to close again. We're just going to flag that little headline. The national gas averages went up $1.31 in the last year. That's year to date. As of today, 3/7/2021 to today, 3/7/2022. The media, in covering the horror and the tragedy and the exodus of the children, the devilish nature of indiscriminate bombing of a bread factory, oil dumps, ammo dumps, any manufacturing. What if that bread factory is manufacturing bread for the Ukrainian army? That's a military target. Sorry. And, talking about the crisis and the pre-invasion force is occupying fringes they've encroached the borders. A pre-invasion force. They really keep repeating history now, bringing up, not since World War II have we seen this. Well, we didn't see the swastika for a long time, and now we're seeing Z's on everything. Zorro is about to return. Yes! Okay, now we're going to have a tangent. This would normally be when we take a break. We'd go out for a Coke and a smoke. So let's go out for a Coke and a smoke. Let's try this without bumper music and theme music. And, there's a rumor about that too, but I don't want to talk. All right. I got tangented. So my head is where. Where and why were we going to take a break? And you can't rewind. You guys can, I can't. Oh, the bread factory. No, I don't think so. Oil dumps, the ammo dumps, all the targets manufacturing. Russia fires indiscriminately at bread factory. Media stunned. President Zelensky from the office. National gas 31. Yeah. We're 2 million. By the time all of you see this in 3 hours, we're at 2 million refugees and climbing. That number will exceed 10 million. I got distracted, need nicotine, and I'm back on target. Allegations Russia is killing civilians indiscriminately as they try and escape. What are being established? Again, you wanted corridors to escape. Okay, we'll go to Belarus. Can't do that. And the claims that no sooner is it opened, but that the Russians are breaching the ceasefire and are shelling at them. Oh, it was the news they were dumping. Yeah. Um, the Supreme Court has decided to decline to review the decision that would have freed Bill Cosby and would have put him back in prison. The media is upset about that one. And the media doesn't want to talk about the Supreme Court decision to reinstate the death penalty for one of the two Boston Marathon bombers, one of the Sarnoff brothers. The most strategic partner, the dumping of dollars. Odessa continued demands for a no-fly zone. Now there's talk of negotiating possibly a non-kinetic no-fly zone using some kind of EM technology, secret weapon. Non-kinetic no, they just are desperate. Everyone from Putin, don't think that Putin doesn't want this. He wants everybody involved in a world war. Only then does everyone make money and everyone will be held accountable. And there'll never be accountability or transparency for any of this nonsense. The President of the United States simply needs to rescind his executive orders, drill, baby, drill, and for the next 99 years, we have a 10-point plan over the next 10 decades to bring us completely green. Everyone wins except you. You are the slave. You need to be controlled. You're going to get used to not $4, not $5, not $6, not it's going to be $7. California. You know when the test market guacamole and Doritos, they used to use California as the beta test state. And if they like in California, they'll love it everywhere. So we beta tested in California and we roll it out to the rest. That was back when California was either the fourth or the fifth world's largest economy. Now I don't believe it's in the top 10. You can Google that number, attack and criticize and comment. Okay, dumb question. Can I do that? I now can see comments. How many billion people are on the planet Earth as of March 1st, 2022? And what was the other number I was just going to have in Google? I don't know what I'm saying. That's I don't pay it. You just go and then forget about it and you're done. You have notes. National gas. Oh, $7 a gallon. But they want us at 10. Again, $5 a gallon gas isn't going to cripple the economy. $10 a gallon gas is. But everyone's entire summer is now disrupted, from their hot dog buns to their ketchup and mustard, their relish, their hot dogs, their hamburger buns, their hamburger meat. What else? Hey, don't bring up the watermelon. Potato chips, dip, I call them cheese doodles. Cheese puffs, sticks, whatever, your cheese doodles. And What do you have? It'll be your potato salad, coleslaw, corn on the cob. You know how much water, electricity, and gas and diesel needs to make corn on the cob? The Supreme Court, the Zarnov brothers, the U.S. meeting with Maduro in Venezuela, but they're also now going to be meeting with uh, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, and Iran. Um, the population is again, was how many? Because 55 million cases of COVID around the world and 6 million cases. Now, Johns Hopkins University says those numbers are low. They could be significantly higher. I'm just wondering what the percentage is that so that we can all take 2 weeks to not drive to flatten the curve regarding high oil. Uh, Everyone's afraid to die. Sorry to tell you, kids, you're all gonna die. That was a rather morbid comment to write down. Indiscriminate killing. Russians are indiscriminately killing civilians, desperately trying to escape Ukraine. Wow, you guys got nothing better to hype up on ABC News in the overnight. The largest refugee crisis since World War II. World War II, that was it. You know, the swastika and the Z. And everybody on the train platforms and get in the trains. And anybody who talks about a conspiracy theory in World War II, oh dear God. Concerns of the United Nations and NATO and the European Union, just so that we make sure everybody's involved and everyone is showing their support and wearing their colors and wearing their ribbons. And what is that? Where did he get that? I also have my Lenin pin, and I have my my 3 ribbons, and I just need the coat, and I swear to God, I'm going to make a black general's coat. Black cashmere. Because the Russian, well, what do you call a female Russian girl? You call her whatever she wants you to call her. All right, well, they like the cashmere. I got tangented again. Uh, oh, again, looking for a way to really impact Vladimir Putin, as everyone around in the international community is changing their colors and wearing the ribbons and all the nonsense. The International Cat Federation, thank God they have finally spoken. Most of you, of course, don't know this, but the International Cat Federation is considered the United Nations of Cat Federations. Because, you know, there's a couple federations of felines, and, you know, just so we're in the pecking order. The International Cat Federation is, in fact, considered by themselves to be the United Nations of Cat Federations. They are shocked and horrified of the actions taken by Vladimir Putin and the Russian army, and they are banding together, and they will be banning any Russian felines from any of their events. The CBS morning show and Gail has become all but impossible to watch. In trying to lay out the discussion for the parameters for the moonshot to cure cancer, as President Biden, of course, displayed his leadership from during the State of the Union address. Gail, you're getting scary. When it comes to, you know, masked and unmasked and vaxxed and not vaxxed and trust and not trust, I'm a Pfizer girl. No. You're Oprah's, but, you know, allegedly. Hey, how was that Bilderberg meeting you were at, Gail? Gail King of Bilderberg. Don't believe me. You might want to Google it. And Oprah. Oh, conspiracy keepers. We need to talk about Oprah Winfrey and Harpo Productions. Get them all in the cars. Keep the trains running. Boy, they just keep you. The same lines work, don't they? Yeah, they scare the hell out of everybody. While attempting to have a video conference, you could hear the sirens in the background, and we're just so scared that we could all die. Guess what? We're all gonna die. Uh, Here locally in Colorado, Governor Jared Polis again continuing to insist full support of the Ukrainian people. Full resources will be delivered to all who come to our fair state. One of the most expensive top 10 now to live cities in the United States, Denver, Colorado. Meanwhile, awaiting word regarding the demand for the ban on Russian oil. Of course, Jared's in on it. We are awaiting word from Senator Hickenlooper. Whoa, really? Didn't he kind of tell you at Bilderberg? Yeah, Bilderberg in 2018 in Tunis about that? Scroll down or search in my videos. I did 3 nights of coverage with that with Luke Radowski. We Are Change. Luke did awesome and exposing all of that. The world may have never known about about then Governor John Hickenlooper and being exposed as attending Bilderberg 2018 in Tunis. I think I got them all. We didn't have to talk about Planet of the Apes or anything. I didn't really try. I jumped, but I didn't. I got back and I went down a couple tangents. Now I don't remember what I said. The largest refugee crisis since World War II. The momentum, the questions and demands for the bans of all Russian oil. The International Cat Federation, thank God, they consider themselves the United Nations of Cat Federations. Well, good for you. Shocked Nord. New York City Mayor. President Zelensky's video from his office. He's not hiding. He's not afraid. He's not in a bunker. The bread factories again. The horror of hitting a bread factory. Well, the reality is, this isn't, Iraq or Iran and hitting a milk factory or a baby formula plant or, this isn't a hospital with a bunch of incubators. I'm doing one last skim to make sure I miss nothing. Boy, we nailed this out in 30 minutes. That's what I said. No nonsense, just 30 minutes. Again, repeating the biggie, China, Russia, and India are now dumping U.S. dollars on the world markets. China did state, in fact, today, 3/7/2022, that Russia is China's most strategic partner. And they will, again, when they abstained from their vote in the United Nations, it's not what they said or didn't say, it's what they did and didn't do. And now China's open allegiance to Russia as a strategic partner, a most strategic partner. Continue negotiations with Iran, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and others for replacing the oil that we may or may not be banning. I got them all. That was fun. That was 30 minutes. Thank you for your time. Find me on the World Wide Web, scootermcgee.com, Facebook, Scooter McGee, Twitter, The Scooter McGee. If you like the show, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, give me an idea. You want to give support? Find Scooter McGee on Patreon. I will see all of you in 23 hours and 30 minutes, 11 p.m. Mountain, 1 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Kiev, 3 p.m. Tokyo and 10 p.m. Pacific. Good evening, good night, and good morning, everybody.